Good morning, everybody. So, welcome to Get More Clients. I know I don't look like Lynn at all. I'm Leslie Nace. I'm your guest speaker for today. And entrepreneurs hire me to get to the core of communication because most fail to speak the language of their listeners and are missing out on connections, relationships, and resolutions to maximize success. The mission of this show is to educate, inspire, and motivate women around the world to build a robust sales strategy because most can't get more clients and haven't a clue why. You're going to learn how to break down some of those barriers to leverage sales, conversations for connections and conversions. You'll also have an opportunity to connect with me further, see how I can support you beyond today. Let's just take a little bit of time to imagine. You are well educated, you're ready in your field and your knowledge because you're an expert, and you want to make that sale. You walk into a room and the person that you want is a very prominent person. And they may be the head of the company or head of the organization. You've done your research. You looked up the company. You know that they are your avatar, and you're ready to go make the sales pitch, to make that connection, have that conversation. And it's the first time that you will be meeting this person. What happens? One of the things that happens right away is you're nervous. You start rubbing your hands together. You start speaking faster than you really need to. And you might be thinking more about your sales pitch versus having a conversation, finding that common ground with this person to really connect in an authentic way. Well, in today, you're going to simply learn about using your superpower in core. And core is what is going to help you get through that first meeting, knowing what to say, how to say it, and just how to communicate with anyone you meet. The communication process is an authentic and rewarding. By the end of today's show, we're going to be going over these points. Understanding, one, your own communication style using CORE, CORE, which is an acronym, of your superpower. You're going to be able to understand how you then can incorporate CORE into your sales techniques. And the last point we're going to cover is have sales conversations with integrity and honor the values of your relationship. When we smile, we communicate friendship. When we talk with a smile on our face, we communicate caring, joyfulness, and happiness. Think about what you communicate with your smile. So I'm Leslie Nace. I'm a coach, author, TV show host, and certified core communication coach. Women entrepreneurs hire me to get to the core of communication because most fail to speak the language of their listeners. And as I said before, you're missing out on those connections, relationships, and resolutions to maximize success. So I help break down the communication barriers to leverage conversations for collaborations, connections, and conversions. Bottom line, our core communication system quickly turns conversations into endless value and potential for your sales. So how does a simple conversation turn into endless value? How does it end up giving you the sales? So there's 3 steps to this. The first step is to know you. Know yourself. How is it that you show up in this world? And the second step is to know that person who's in front of you, that you are going to have this relationship a long time. Build partners and collaborations and connections within that. And step 3 is to know what to say next. Those are the three aspects that I work in. So in step one, we're going to go over that. Know you begins with understanding your desired outcome and what your non-negotiables are in the situation. Next, you must look at how you show up in your communication. Well, that's the point that I'm going to get to right here today. Poor communication is a system to support you in any and all conversations. This system works in business and life. It works with your boss or your spouse. Also works with your kid or children or with your dog, believe it or not. In order to capitalize on any and all connections, you'll want to get to the core of your communication style. Let me break these down quickly and easily. Don't worry. I'll be available to connect beyond today. So no need to memorize or try to figure out the entire system today. I just want to give you a brief overlook. And we're going to start with the letter C. C is for O is for optimizer. R is for relator. And E is for expert. Now, even when I say those, you might already be thinking in your mind, well, I might be a catalyst, but maybe I'm more like a relator. Oh, I'm not really sure. So let's take a few thoughts and dive deeper into that. So we're going to start with that catalyst. The catalyst can be recognized by exhibiting some of the following primary traits, behaviors, and habits. Your catalysts tend to be your troubleshooters, your negotiators, you're captivating, they're flexible, they're achievers, they could be storytellers. They like to be problem solvers, mediators, vicious, and they are great in a solid crisis. They're oftentimes your first responders. They are good at improvisation, right? It takes a lot of courage to do that. And practicality. Let me not stumble too much over my words as I'm getting through all of this information today. So they may also be part of the latest style, they stand out a little bit, they like the designer label. They like aesthetics. So catalysts are free-spirited and independent behavior. They perform gracefully in sports and the arts, are positive but struggle with blind faith, prefer concrete ideas and useful theory, function best through hands-on learning. Catalysts love beauty and anything aesthetically pleasing, are very skilled at negotiation. They seek out and chase opportunities. They're ready. They'll take risks to achieve goals and look at more productive ways in doing things. Get twice as much done in a fraction of the time. They're not going to stop at anything. So now let's look at the O. O is for optimizer. The optimizer can be recognized exhibiting the following primary traits, behaviors, and habits here. Your optimizers, financial planning. They are into duty and responsibility. They want instructions, they're earnest, and they're rule followers. They're loyal, they will like security and honesty and dependability. They're dedicated, and systems, oh, they love systems. They're excellent at having a system that they can punch all the things into, all the numbers, everything in there. They like patterns, investments, chronological order, accomplishment, and logistics. So optimizers, they prefer both time-tested and proven establishments. Expect honest behavior from others. Strive to maintain order and security in their environments. Lead agenda-driven meetings that are efficient and timely, and implement functional systems. Follow all tasks through to completion. They value heritage. Optimizer love working with systems, routines, and procedures. Then they expect everyone to follow established rules and are committed to true and clear standards. So you may have seen a little bit of yourself in the Catalyst, maybe you saw a little bit in the Optimizer, but we're not done yet. We next have R, which is for Relator. The relator can be recognized with the exhibiting the following primary traits, behaviors, and habits. A relator loves a good cause. They have very much a genuineness about themselves. Philanthropy is something that they really are about, and advocacy. They can be very empathetic. They're full of hugs and kisses. They like to make direct eye contact. They're about fairness and inspiration, trust. They like fellowship, family, ideas, positive disposition. Referrals are good for relators. Loyalty, affection, physical gestures, compassion, advocate. Support others in reaching their potential. Relators dislike those who focus on material possession, demonstrate enthusiasm and passion in their endeavors. They display appreciation of others in various ways, are on a quest for self-actualization, and want others to do the same. The relators also show appreciation easy and in many ways. Like, I'm really glad you're all here. I appreciate you. Often train, motivate, and counsel people in need. Thrive on interaction with people individually and in groups, wherever needed. Demonstrates resilience during hardship. All right, and now we're on to the last letter, that E in core communication. And I'm going to pause for a drink, because the E is for expert. The expert can be recognized exhibiting the following primary traits, behaviors, and habits. Analyst, plan, consumer accounts. They're specialists. They like diagrams, evidence, facts. Show me the facts, equations, devices. They're usually a higher education instruction. Variation, rational, outcome. Associate reviews, evidence. Oh, they like puzzles and knowledge and studies. And lots of times they like science fiction and applications and strategy and technology. All of these incredible things. They like their titles and their degrees. So experts tend to place heavy focus on the future and long-term results. Easily comprehend abstract ideas. Dislike memorization without clear comprehension. Place high trust in logic and reasoning above all else. Prefer to resolve conflict logically and rationally while avoiding emotion. Share and explain abstract ideas using diagrams and models. So they tend to be very self-critical and will discover errors before others do. Like to lay out mapped out plans and accompanying strategies. Capable of keeping several issues in mind at the same time. Speak with precision and hear contradictions easily. Seek out subsequently conversations and dislikes small talk. Displays strong self-discipline. So just by hearing these first few things, you've probably thought of, wow, I may be really strong as an expert, or maybe I am part relator, part catalyst, or part something else. There are parts and pieces that do overflow, but we tend to have a communication style that is really strong within us. Now, when you're going to make sales, it's interesting, but also helpful for you to know where you come from as that core communication style. And you can quickly pick up on other people as well, the more you dive into this. Now, there are some, let's say, negative, or they could be more like barriers to each of these core communication styles. And the barriers are because we fall back into that style of communicating, and it's like a path, right? A path that you walk down the first time is not really a path, but when you walk it several times, it gets ingrained. And that's the thing that happens with ingrain. So I'm going to go quickly through some of what of the negative habits and traits might be. So catalyst management, they don't like that. They don't like borders. They don't like time limits. They don't like a JOBS either. They don't want confinement and direction. They are busybodies. They like to be moving, and work hours and schedules and details, time cards, not something. Being quiet is not something that they like. Let's move on to the optimizer, because the optimizer's negative habits and traits tend to be inconsistency, lack of focus. It can be in a disarray or disorganized, wasting time, misrepresentation. They don't take chances. They tend to be that squirrel. Missed deadlines and surprises, delays. So how about a relator? When a relator comes to the negative traits and habits, well, seclusion can be one, misconduct, greed, disrespect, prejudice, unfair selling tactics, stress. Your relators tend to avoid the confrontation and the competition. They're over-compassionate at times and sacrifice their profits to please others. And these can end up being in the negative end of things. And they give too many discounts and additional time outside of what's established and gift much of their work or their service. So that can be very much a negative for the relators. Now, your experts on their primary negative habits and traits, they are, here we go, we've got meaningless talk, emotions. They don't like any of this. So in public speaking, role playing, or some of the uncollaborated claims is a big one that they're for. So in just, they believe everything and about everything, and believe their way is the best way. Can be very rigid in what they have to say. They're inflexible, they're closed off and dismissive. And, they're in denial about some of that waste of time, additional resources. The ideas need to be theirs to begin with. And sometimes they're addicted to the technology that doesn't necessarily help move them forward. So it's easy to use the core communication system by the simple get to know you. And there's certain questions that can help with that. And I've got to see how much time we have here. So these are questions I'm going to go through, and I'm not going to go through the whole core part, but these questions very much help you with your sales. When you meet somebody for the first time and you say, tell me about yourself, and the catalyst might say immediately, we have a list of accomplishments and information about themselves. Okay, there's a clue as to who you're talking about. The optimizer starts with what they do, for how long, and where they live, and basic personality. Another clue as to who you're talking to. The relator, they tell you all about them personally, how they feel, and they immediately might ask you, how are you? And the expert, they respond often with a clarifying question. What would you like to know? So right there in that first time, you get an idea of who you're talking to. So let's ask another question to help dive into that more, because you want to ask them, how do they spend their spare time? Well, you're going to know the catalyst, like it's concerts, festivals, outdoor competition, parties, you know, the optimizer, organizing, cleaning, purpose, small group conversations. The relator is going to be that family, meditation, spiritual activities, nature. And the expert's more about reading, internet pursuits, and researching, maybe even sci-fi events or tech talk or puzzles or drones. So here's another question you can ask. Once you get this bigger picture of who this person is that you're talking to, you're going to start feeling that common ground. But even more so in the common ground when it comes to sales, you ask, what aspect of your job do you enjoy the most? And you're going to want to lean in and really listen, because this is one of those keys that are really important that people are going to tell you the most about yourself. Are they talking about implementing, taking action? That'd be your catalyst. Are they talking about accounting, organization, creating systems? That's your optimizer. Maybe they're talking about serving customers, collaboration, counseling, coaching. That's your relator. Or are they into the research and development, the big picture, technical support, innovative software? That's your expert. Yeah, I know my time was limited today, and there's so many different ways to get to know you in the process. Core does that. It allows you to move through conflict or confrontation and easily come to a resolution. You'll learn to, you'll lead by selling, and you'll love to connect with different people. Your first step is to owning any conversation and creating massive results. So you're embracing any conversation requires you to find your voice. That's what communication is. No more holding back, no more avoiding. Your mission is to speak up, stir it up, make waves, be heard, be respected for your truth. Start by finding your voice, as there is no greater power. And one of the things that you can stop avoiding conversations is to start slowly. So here's an activity you can do. I encourage you to start with a simple yes or no to a question in your daily life. It can be as easy as, no, I don't want liver and onions, or yes, I love pizza. Who would say no to pizza anyways, right? So I love the saying, make your yes be yes and your no be no. No lukewarm. It's either no or yes. So, we quickly went through understanding your communication style using four as your superpower, incorporating four into your sales technique, have sales conversation with integrity and honor and the values of your lesson. So thanks so much for tuning in. My purpose is for you to get more clients, and bottom line, don't make this harder than it has to be. Sales should be a win-win-win. On behalf of Win-Win Women Network, Lynn has carved out a limited number of time slots to invite you to hop on Ignite Your Sales call to see what's working, what's not working, what you'd love to have working, and Lynn sees how you might future support you in effectively generating more leads, conversions, more sales, and fulfilling your promise as a brand and organization. The fastest way to success is to assure people know that they matter. The best way to making this happen is to build a consistent sales strategy to acquire, convert, and capitalize on every lead, and you'll find. So I'm Leslie Nace, and I am so glad to have this opportunity to jump in and to support your sales success and igniting your brand. So say yes and get on that call with Lynn. And I will say thank you so much. And if you want to get a hold of me, I am a show host here on Win Win Women. You can find me on Books, Yarns, and Tales, or you can email me at leslie@leslienace.com if you want more information on core communication. Thanks so much for being here. But for now, bye.